on the live.
And that means the press can join us if they decide to?
Press or public, so can watch this on YouTube, and then it will be saved on YouTube as well.
Thank you, Katie.
You are welcome.
Hi, Jim.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Reverend Lewis.
Trying to get myself situated here, so just give me a second. But I'm listening.
So I might be waiting on a few more people. Yeah.
Oh, while we're waiting.
I apologize. I have work going on at the house, and so I'm going to be muting and unmuting so that you don't hear all the banging.
No worries.
I just want to let everyone know I may need to jump off a few minutes early. I have another meeting scheduled for 4. So might just jump off a couple minutes early.
Okay.
Is this meeting being staffed? Do we have a staff member, or it's just us? Okay. So do we have a quorum of our subcommittee right now? We have a lot to do. Mr. Chairman of the subcommittee, I think we should probably get started. Others will come and join us. And Isaiah is going to lead this. He's going to lead this meeting for us today.
All right. So we could do like quick introductions, I guess, since we have. I'm Isaiah Reed. I serve as the youth representative on the commission, and I'll just let everyone else go around.
Reverend Kenneth Lewis. I'm here as a gubernatorial appointment for faith-based representation on this permanent commission.
I'm Representative Denise Tepler. I represent the town of Topsom. I've met Reverend Lewis before. I attended Crystal Hinks and Joey Fournier's wedding, so saw you there. And I chair the Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services Committee.
And I'm Jim Handy, and I represent the city of Lewiston, and I'm on the IDEA committee in the legislature.
Hi, I'm Brooks. I represent House District 61, which is part of Lewiston, and I serve on the Health Coverage Insurance and Financial Services Committee with Denise.
All right. I guess that's so far all of us today. So I think the best and fastest way to get through all of these bills would be I'm going to share my screen, which is going to have the PDF on it. And then we'll go through and we'll assume whichever like score it averages as. So if it's like we have an average of like high, like, sorry, am I coming through or? Okay.
Yeah, I just was wondering, there were a couple that were kind of odd in the way that they were scored. So maybe we can talk about something other than the average for those.
Yeah. I was going to say that we will go to each one quickly and then say like, and if anyone disagrees with the score it's given, then anyone is like free to talk and we'll like discuss it and then like be free to make their case on why that should be different. And then we'll like vote again and decide whether we want to, whether that is to not include or to include that bill in our recommendations, as far as what the commission recommends. Does that make sense? And then everything that has like an average score, like in the middle, we'll just automatically discuss that one. Sorry if that's not, is that clear or? All right, so I'll start by sharing my screen here. Why am I having trouble doing this? I haven't really used Zoom since school. I probably share screen. There you go.
They set you up as a co-host or a host.
Yeah, I actually haven't used it from this.
So if you say share screen, there you go. And I'm gonna put that on full there. That's probably good.
And can everyone see that?
I have mine in my hand. My eyes are a little old, so I can't see that on my laptop.
So
I have it in my hand, so if we call out the number, that's better.
all right. Sorry about that. It took me a second. All right, so our first one, LD 46. I'm like, as we see that mostly seeing high recommendation for this. Do we all agree with that finding, or if anyone? All right, so we'll just unanimously approve that and move on. Is that? All right, sounds great. I'm trying to channel all of I did Boys State in high school. I'm trying to channel all of that in right now. Okay.
You're doing great, Isaiah.
All right, thank you. So for the next one, LD 82, act to determine necessity for a public guardian or conservator bond. We had that as extremely low to low.
Can I say that I looked into this a little bit, and in fact, this has, I think, real possibilities to help folks out, because what it means is that not in all cases will someone who wants to serve as a public guardian or conservator have to post a bond. And if you're a person who's not of means and you are responsible for someone in your family as their public guardian or conservator, then you will not have to post a bond to serve in that role. So I feel like maybe this has more, is at least between average and high as opposed to extremely low, but that's just my feeling. I'm willing to go, if the committee feels this is extremely low, then I'll go along.
This is Reverend Lewis. I think one of the processes that I went through, and I think you would have remembered this from our last meeting, I took a look at bond issues and resolves in a little bit of a different light as we went through these 65 odd bills. And so I'm appreciative of your in-depth thought around that. And I probably would consider it more average than low. I don't know if it would rise to the place of high or extremely high for me. I just wanted to share that. But if you feel very, very strongly about it, it's a solid 3 then, based on the information that you shared from my perspective.
Yeah, Reverend Lewis, this is not a bond in the sense that the legislature votes on it as a loan that the state is taking out. This is a bond like bail is a bond. So that.
Yeah, I think when I first read it, I kind of went through it I saw a bond and it kind of went right by. So I appreciate your explanation. And as I read the title, I see what you're talking about. And, you know, there is some possibility here, I think, from a weighted perspective. I'm still not sure whether or not it would rise to the extremely high level, but thank you so very much for drawing my attention to that.
No problem.
I had a hard time with that one as well, not quite being with the language. I wish I downloaded the recording of what I scored it because I don't remember. Could you repeat again how exact? Cause I did read each summary, but can you repeat again how, like what this would look like? if it
Sure.
passed?
So right now, anyone who wants to serve as a public guardian or conservator for an individual. So that means that you would be appointed by the court to take care of someone's finances and life decisions that who isn't capable of doing that themselves. And you would right now have to post a bond of a certain amount of money to guarantee that you weren't going to take advantage of that person.
Okay.
So under this law, that would be adjudicated a little bit more. So it would go through court a little bit more. That wouldn't necessarily fall out that you had to post a bond. There would be discussion about whether or not you had to post a bond. And that would probably depend on your relationship to the individual and so forth. And posting a bond is something that requires money. So it's harder for people who don't have money.
Right.
So my thought about this, and again, I don't know, I'm sorry to be spending so much time on this, but just explaining it to you all. I don't know that this rises as high as some of the other programs that are in this list, but I think that there are some advantages to disadvantaged populations in this bill.
Yeah, I would agree, and and I see that it's a concept draft, which is a little troubling for me. It's hard to kind of understand and dig into it a little bit, but it requires that there be a review of the bond requirements. So there's some steps in place associated with this before it can even be enacted, correct?
Right.
So this just kind of opens the door for the review, if I follow it. Is that correct?
You're muted right now.
muted.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I keep muting myself. I believe so. I think I looked at this and there is actually an amendment that exists that is the bill now. That's one of the difficulties of looking up these bills is sometimes it's hard, particularly if it was a concept draft, to find the bill. You have to dig a little bit. And my screen is all full of this right now, so I don't know if I could look it up, but how about we skip it for now, or maybe just call it average and move along. I just don't want to take up too much time on this.
Okay.
We could add it to the list of final, like, and then we can decide at the end after we get all the other ones, like which ones we want to focus on, maybe.
That sounds good, Isaiah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for bringing that up. All right, should we move on? Next one. All right, so third one, LD 124, about tax breaks for water ambulances to islands. I think,
Bye-bye.
yeah. All right. Can everyone read these well or should I keep dictating them? Okay. All right, LD 162. How this one looks somewhat average, but more on the low side. Do we want to discuss this one further? Should we just strike that one from,
Yeah, let's move on.
Yep.
all right. 178. Looks, do we want to include or not include this one?
I think we can come back and talk about this one maybe.
Okay, yeah, let's see.
I mean, if we
Alright.
can do a quick pass through to weed out those that are no's, that would like the current standing and then kind of double back, if we can do a quick pass through, you think?
That's a
Okay, that
great
sounds
idea.
good.
All right.
Yep, it's great.
All right. This one looks like a no. All right. I'll write down ones we're gonna come back to. All right, 302. Do we agree with this one? Awesome. No, on this one. Yeah. All right, we can come back to this one.
Are we on 399?
Yeah.
I think Representative Tepler has a question or a statement.
Not a question, just a quick comment that a lot of the people who are doing this work right now are members of the immigrant community and they're people of color.
Yep.
So
I
wage
thought that-
increase here does directly impact communities of color.
This is very high for me, so I think this one needs to stay in the file.
Okay, great. I have no, I wish I recalled what I voted on these, but I didn't download that. All right. Sure. I'm just writing these down. Okay, okay, we can just move on from that one. All right, strike that. This one is very mixed. Should we come back to it or any comment?
If I could speak to this, so from a public health perspective, Maine kind of leads the nation in some respects from a lung cancer standpoint. And, you know, I think this is something that we should talk about as part of our ongoing deliberations.
All right. Move on then. Do we agree with the high rating on this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can move on.
Yeah. I eat eelgrass.
Keep going.
Yep.
Oh, we have unanimous. So we'll keep. Just stop me if you have anything I go back to.
That's
This one was interesting to me. I wasn't. Should we come back to this one?
I don't know how this works out eventually, but I feel like this is a bill that Brownie Carson put in because he had a case against the state with the public health nurses. So I mean, my understanding of the story of this makes me not think it's super helpful, but I could be wrong. So
I do remember, I think, putting this as lower average because I was thinking that, like, while this might happen, it probably isn't very common or in the, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I didn't think that this one really rose to the level of continued consideration.
Do we want to strike this one down or come back to it?
Let's strike it now.
Like it
All
does.
right. Okay. So this anyone have any comments? I guess it's more on the high side. Should we just agree with it?
It's Rachel Talbot Ross's bill, and I think she's done a lot of work with this federal work opportunity tax credit issue, and wanting to make it available to more people, particularly in communities of color in the state, and particularly for former inmates, I think. So I feel like this rises fairly high.
Yeah, I do believe I rated this extremely high as well.
I think we keep it.
I think we
All
can
right.
keep,
All right, moving on. 776, agree with the, all right.
Yes.
This one,
I don't think it's consistent with what our objectives are.
yeah.
yeah, that was the hard thing I found. I was like, a lot of these I liked, and then it's like, well, like, is it consistent with what we're doing?
Yeah, I had to keep bringing myself back in to focus on what our purpose is.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, there could be good bills that don't fit our purpose.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And- all right, so we'll go by that one, I think. All right. I rated this one high, I remember, or extremely high, I think. Wait, I don't remember, but we can agree with the, okay.
Nope.
Right.
And
I know I voted no on this because it's basically a concept bill, and whatever comes out from the appropriations committee, they can create their own bill. So I don't think there's a need for it.
all right, we'll strike
Alright.
that one. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
All right. Do we want to, is this, strike this or?
Strike it.
Strike it. 75%
Yeah.
voted extremely low.
Craig might want to weigh in on that one, though, now that he's joined us.
Hello, Craig. Unmute yourself, my friend.
Sorry, I'm late. I had to deal with customers and gizzards. Yeah, strike it.
Hey, then.
Chicken gizzards and customers. Oh my.
All right.
Hey,
So
Gizzard.
for LD 1039, do we want to keep this?
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
I agree. Okay.
Craig, if you're talking, I can't read your lips.
Let's keep rolling.
What did you say? Am I
I'm
stalking?
having trouble reading your lips.
I think we should keep this resolve.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
I agree.
Yes.
All right. I'll add that.
Who else is on? Oh, hi, Heidi.
Hi.
It's good to see everybody.
Do we keep it?
I think we
All
should
right.
keep that.
Yes.
Space. Here we go.
Yes, that's for tribal communities, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
That's. Do we agree with the yes on this
Yes.
one?
Yes.
Can we stop for a second? Because I'm concerned that this isn't necessarily the best way to do this for communities of color. This tax credit piece. And I mean, so I prefer to come back to this for discussion later, but that's just my thought.
I don't remember how I voted on this. I might have said average. I can't remember. But this, in fact, now that I think about it, could actually create disparities.
Yes,
So
Yes.
I we should cut it, but we should certainly look at it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the way I'm approaching this is whatever we don't put on the floor, we're gonna come back at. So the idea now is to kind of cull out those things that are definite no's, and those things that are definitely we're keeping, and then we should end up with a small pile of things for discussion.
Good.
But I agree with Craig that this can reify disparities rather than resolve them.
Okay.
Yeah, we come
We'll
back.
come back to this one, and I realized I wrote down that LD number, but not the question number. We're trying more.
29.
I'll just do that here. Okay. Strike this.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay. Do we approve of this one?
Keep
yes.
it.
Keep it.
Can you lower this one? Oh, is that?
Oh yeah, I was trying to remember to write something, and then, but I think, Reverend Lewis, are you also writing down the?
Well, I'm calling him out as we go. So anything that we say no is on the floor right now. Anything we keep is in my hand.
Okay, we'll go off your system because I think mine's getting a little.
Yeah, that's my system, and then I can write down on the actual sheet. So I printed everything out, little
Yep.
old school. So I have
I
them
like
all.
This
Awesome.
to keep, right?
That must be satisfying.
It's the cutting room floor.
Absolutely, absolutely. Not ready for prime time.
All right, strike this one.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay. Strike this one.
Yep.
yep,
Approve of this.
yep,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Approve?
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
No.
No.
Or yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I have mixed feelings about this one, but I'll let it go.
All right.
We can't. Should we come back to it, or?
I put it on the floor.
I put it on the floor.
You can't reach it.
Okay, leave it on the floor. There's a lot of.
On the floor.
Because you know if it's really important, we're gonna take it up as a legislature.
Well, you all, I mean, see, that's the unfair part because I put stuff on the floor. You all put it back on the table. Then unless I take a trip for public comment, I can't get my word in edgewise.
That's why I said we're not gonna really like keep too many because legislators are gonna fight for their bills anyway
Absolutely.
outside of this process. All right, moving along.
I still think it's important to understand which ones might make a difference and which ones won't, but.
I agree.
I do too. Nope. No. You know. All right.
No,
No on this one.
No.
like for 7 people.
No.
Nope.
No,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Awesome.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That goes on the table, Reverend.
Don't put that one on the floor.
Yeah.
No,
Pick it
I'm
up.
doing that with 2 hands. I got it in 2 hands.
I like the symbolism of this.
Yeah. No.
This is just
No.
a concept draft that hasn't been filled at all, so definitely.
No.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
Somebody thought everything was pretty low.
Yeah, I guess so. This,
Yes.
you know what? This one is a yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
To that one.
At first, I was thinking that pollutants weren't quite super, but then I was thinking about like especially indigenous lands and like cancer rates among
Whole gas fields and
Right,
Mhm.
environmental
As well
justice
as
issues.
as well as environmental justice in poor communities,
yeah.
Yeah.
we'll always have challenges with underground tanks and other kind of things. And so,
Exactly.
And PFAS and everything else.
Agree with all the above. Yes.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't see. Yeah, that's fine.
No.
Yeah, no,
no,
I couldn't find it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I just didn't see it.
Okay. Moving on.
No.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
public health.
I sent
but
you.
my question around this, and I want to make sure that I don't know what this does, and so I'm pretty familiar with this concept. I don't know how, from a racial equity lens,
I sent you a proposed amendment to this bill.
you did.
Yeah, I sent it probably an hour ago, so you might not have seen it yet.
Okay, let's hold it in the mix then. Okay.
You got it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
should give it to you to consider. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
can I just also say that my understanding of what this does is it makes it very difficult to take monies out of the fund for Healthy Maine for any reason other than public health. And
Right.
right now we've been sort of rating that, or particularly LePage rated it a bunch, but rating it and not using it for public health purposes.
Right.
Yeah, we rated it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
not gonna-
that's why I said particularly LePage.
I'm not going to speak on this particular, and so I'd probably recuse myself
Okay.
from this particular legislation due
Okay.
to what I would consider some conflicts.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
but I'll read the
Yeah.
amendment because I'd like to know what's in it.
Yeah, the amendment is a structural thing, but you'll see it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Moving on. Almost there. No.
Yeah, no,
No.
no.
No. No.
Well, one sec. I
Okay.
wasn't sure about that one because I thought that maybe it basically what it does is it doesn't jail people for or give them crime designations for hunting and fishing violations. So it could work for tribes people, and I don't know. Craig, you talk to it for a minute.
Because of it's got a 50% extremely low, I think we should put it on the floor, but it's just something that we can maybe talk to the bill sponsor about off mic if we think that it's got something in it that would help Native populations. Because I don't know that it does or doesn't, but
I
I
don't
think
think it does.
for now.
On the floor.
Okay.
Just a quick
Uh-huh.
reminder, we have a hard 4 p.m. stop because of the next subcommittee.
Okay,
Mhm.
we'll
It
make
should
it.
be in.
We'll make it.
Okay. This is pretty
That's so cool. Look at that.
right in the middle. This one was tough for sure.
I think we should leave it.
Yeah, please.
Let's leave it.
Hmm.
And then, you can, like, Rev Lewis, since you are doing the, like, on the floor and now on the floor, you could probably set that one aside, but just don't put it on the floor.
I keep thinking on the floor for discussion, and so I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'll pick a cutting room floor.
All right, so we'll keep that one to
Yeah.
discuss. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Whoa, come back here.
I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
it really needs to be.
I think we should leave that on the table. I mean, we should consider this one. Yeah.
I agree.
As do I.
No. Extremely high.
Well, somebody must think there's some disparity could be, but whatever. That's
Wasn't me.
No.
This-
No? Okay.
No,
we're just, if people want to keep it, then just make your point.
I'd like to just say that, I mean, this is clearly, we know it's a plastic packaging and that sort of stuff is a problem. And again, this goes right along with the environmental justice. Plastics and other non-recyclable somewhere. And I think we should support it.
I think making companies responsible for this recycling instead of individuals is real environmental justice work.
Could you also argue that there is jobs as well to be seen in the?
Come on 1 second, I gotta turn up.
Potentially.
Maybe?
I think we can keep it in the pile,
Okay.
and we only have a few more to go through, so.
All right. Let's get those done.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nope. Yes.
Yes,
Greg?
I have an amendment that I sent y'all.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it came about 45 minutes ago. It's a pretty comprehensive restructuring of how we jail people and allow them access to this market. There's another bill in our committee that is made a step in the right direction, but this one actually just takes that step and makes it total. The amendment does, not the bill itself. The amendment does.
So we should keep this one for further.
That would be my suggestion.
Keep it in.
I agree. Okay.
Because the amendment really changes the bill.
No.
No, just,
There's
Yeah.
another one. I think we should keep this one. Does everyone agree with keeping this?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did Mexico just ban glyphosate? A little bird told me that, but I haven't verified it yet.
Oh,
That would be good.
Just wondering if anybody heard that. That's all good. We don't have to stop.
No on this one.
no
No.
on that one?
no.
No.
I would say no. So,
All right. That's that.
all right.
What a group.
Okay, Rev, how many we got left?
3, 4, 5, 6,
I'll scroll to the ones I know.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Oh, no. Too many.
A lot. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
This, I believe, was the first one on the list.
It was.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give that one up if we have that many because I don't think it's as important as many of the others.
Which
So,
one are we talking about?
Number 2,
Question 2.
LD 82.
LD 82.
Yeah.
So
So how many?
we have 34, and that's what I have. So I mean 32. So we call the list in half.
Okay, that's a good start.
Yeah, and so we're taking out 82.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
What was the next one?
162.
6. I should have written down.
Sorry, if you go down 162.
Here we go. Do we want to?
That was a solid average to me.
And more on the low side, should we strike this one?
I wasn't here for this discussion, but I would definitely cut that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I concur.
Same.
Yep.
I think we all concur.
I had this one as come back to.
I guess question is, I mean, this is going to help retired teachers. So, I mean,
So
I-
while I'd
is
love
that-
to help retired teachers, I think the lens we look at,
Mhm.
I don't know if this impacts that
Enough.
population.
people of
Yeah.
color, yeah.
And so I think you all will take this back up when your time comes in the real session.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with striking this.
I
one.
agree.
Strike it.
Okay.
Um, 734. That's the federal work opportunity tax credit.
Okay. Gosh, to
Wow, we're moving.
734.
734.
What
Alright.
happened to the ones before that were,
Well, those all scored pretty high.
yeah, okay,
And so I'm trying to call out the numbers that are kind of in the middle on the margins.
That's
And
good.
if you need to call out a number, I guess we can do that. So I'm trying to, hopefully we can get this 32 number down to something smaller, and then we can have some, we got a few minutes for discussion. So,
Okay.
734.
I think this should stay in.
yeah. I think
Okay.
I'd like to keep it.
this is a piece of red tape that Rachel's been fighting for inmates in their work credit.
Okay.
I agree to keep this one.
Because it's important that these work credit bills get discussed.
All right. I can just type in the number up.
1164.
Oops, not 71,000. There you go.
There you go.
Thank goodness there's not that many.
This is the one that we said might even increase disparities. Is that what Denise and I said?
Let's put it on the floor then.
Yeah, floor it.
On your
That
floor.
this is for folks who are making enough money to get a tax credit
Hmm.
and who have already paid for college.
I agree.
All right. What's our next?
1923.
I think to fall in line with our other concerns, we should keep
Keep this one,
one.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
keep that. because
keep
I
it.
want to look at how the federal law right now defines it. Do we have the bill sponsor? In front of-
It's Jessica Fay, and she and I talked about it. The amendment actually changes the bill a fair amount. It's a committee amendment, but it still works to fight issues around hazardous substances and contaminants.
I'm good with
So the next one that's kind of
I, so that's pretty good.
2083.
I think we were thinking about agreeing to this one.
I think we should keep it.
Representative Hickman.
Trying to remember what we did with this bill. Oh, yeah, this would require schools to report to the Board of Pesticide Control. Yeah, we should keep this one. Because again, the schools are at least like.
Bill then, or Nicole Grahowski's bill?
I don't know whose bill this is, but I just remember what this bill does. And
Okay,
2104.
Okay. I'm pretty impartial on this one at the moment. I'm not sure.
I'd like to see it stay.
I'm fine with this thing or going, so it don't matter.
Let's leave it in the pile.
Thank you for your support.
2114.
What's the number again?
2114. That one's good. 2125.
2114 should stay.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2114 should definitely stay. 2125 is Craig's amendment.
That's the amendment that I would just urge you to read before we either.
okay, I'm gonna leave that in my hand.
Okay.
We threw that one away. And 2142, which was the last one we decided to keep.
Oh, yeah.
We still have a big stack.
Keep that one.
Keep it.
Yeah, this one is just a big deal. And Mexico did ban glyphosate, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay.
88.
I'm gonna have to head out, gang. Thank you. I look forward to more opportunities to work together. I think this is a really cool process, and I'd actually like to see it continue into the 130th.
I love this process. I'm so mad I'm leaving. It's not even funny. I told you for an informal process, we designed, well, I didn't really design this. Carol and Rachel and Megan Rochelle designed something that's better than any formal process that we have in the legislature.
It's
So,
pretty cool.
Thank you so much for your input. It was really helpful.
Thank you. So
right.
what I was trying to do very quickly
Good luck.
is, do we want to, we have 12 minutes. Do we want to kind of stack rank these by score? I can do that very quickly in my lap here with around the percentages on number 4s and number 5s. Would that be helpful, or
That's
we want to just go through it again?
how many do we have left? Bill?
Too many.
But what is it, 29? Is it 25?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, in the 20s, 13, 14.
Okay, so your next suggestion would be to, the only two
The
bills.
suggestion would be is to take a look at the scoring, the way we scored them, and using that little answer choices and responses, add up the number 5s and number 4s.
Okay,
This way, from the highest to the lowest in the pile.
okay.
Except, Reverend, I think that there may be a bit of a problem with that, because on some of these, I know there are a couple anyway, that we kind of overrode decisions that didn't have any highs or extremely highs. So if we were to go ahead and do that, it would kind of
So
skew
we
it.
start with those who have a high percentage, more than 50% of extremely high.
Well, I was gonna go with what Jim said and say, can we just set aside maybe the handful of bills that we kind of overrode, because we know that there's some details that could lift their overall rate. I mean, off the top of my head, I can think of the glyphosate bill, 2125 and 1961 have amendments that are pretty structural.
Okay.
We set those aside and then look at, those are the only three I can think of off the top of my head that were a little iffy, but we also think that they're important.
We could put forth the ones we definitely want to move forward, and then those we might have a few questions on, like you were just mentioning.
Yep.
We could put on a second list to bring to the
Yep.
full committee if we have time, because I would like to hear what the leaders of the indigenous nations would have to say on some of the, specifically the environmental ones.
Yep, got it.
So Isaiah, you're leading the charge here. What are we gonna do?
Does that sound like a good plan? Just put together the list real quick and put them into different lists by just reading through the numbers, and then we'll quickly decide. I think we can do that in 9 minutes.
However you want to do it, I'm ready.
Whatever works.
Whatever works.
All right.
I'm gonna stop my video for 1 second, but I'm listening.
So we could put 2140. So we have two separate piles. Does that work? We have 2142 in the full committee if we have time to consider.
Yep.
And then, Reverend, if you just want to list off
I guess
the
my,
numbers again that you have left.
yeah, unfortunately, my stuff's out of order now. And so,
That's okay, because I can just jump around with the find function on the PDF.
okay, very good. So I started, so I think 1756 is a definite from my standpoint, 1756.
I agree.
Yeah, 1756 is a definite.
Mhm.
I think that 880,
Definite.
Yes,
1907,
Definite.
399,
What was the last one you said, Brad?
399,
Yeah, definite as well.
yes,
Yep.
512,
To put that.
should be staying in.
Okay.
Yep.
46,
Yep.
Definite.
Yes,
776,
Definite.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
302,
Hopefully we can. That's a definite as well. Yeah.
1134,
yes,
1403,
Yep.
yes,
1466,
Yep.
yes,
Yeah.
1424,
yes,
Yeah.
let's see, 2114,
yes,
Okay.
2039,
Yes.
yes,
1937,
1937. Yes.
Yes. This list is still big.
I want
okay,
to remember that some committees may only have one bill, and we may have a committee that has a lot of bills.
We just might have hit the jackpot.
We don't
Yep.
have bills. We have bills that I think are going to do something. And then, of course, the commission will make its final recommendations. But I saw some of the other groups, and there was like 2 bills in one group that had anything to do with anything as far as I could see.
Okay.
We just have a lot of.
so the other ones that I have in my hand are these, 493,
How many is that before you go to this one?
okay,
I just want to get a number.
okay, let's see,
If you don't mind.
no problem, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay. That's not bad. Because I'm thinking in my head 20, but that's just what I'm thinking in my head. So what else you got, Rev?
493,
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
734,
yes. This was Rachel's bill to,
Yeah, that's right. I know I put extremely high. I think I did it on all of Rachel's bills, actually.
1039.
1039. That's a resolve to establish and fund interventions for at-risk families and children. I can't remember how I voted on this. Who's the sponsor?
I remember I looked into this for a while, and I can't. Obviously, I didn't do much, but I'm looking into it.
1039.
I mean, resolves are funny because they don't really do anything.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do much with resolves because they generate a report.
We can put this more on the floor then, or
Well,
I'd like to put it on the floor if we could, and the legislature will do what they do with the resolves when you're in session.
What were you gonna say, Jim? Did you want to say something?
well, Isaiah, could you scroll up a little bit? I want to see how that broke out.
oh yeah. We do have 3 minutes to.
Yeah.
I don't mind keeping it either.
Yeah, so it's 62% if you take the extremely high and high together. I
Yeah.
think that's significant.
All right, keep it.
1073.
1070.
I think I did vote high on that. 1073.
That's the Mid-Coast Pilot Project Drug Treatment Court.
Yes.
Yeah, I say keep it.
1234.
Keep it.
Yes.
2125.
I say keep it, but you guys need to see the amendment.
I'll
Yep,
keep,
we'll
I'll
keep
put it in
it.
the keep column then.
Should we just put the environmental ones on the lower priority list? 'Cause that looks like where this is going. Or should we just submit what we have? I'm just saying in the interest of time. Here with
If I can go through these real quick. 2104.
Yes.
2083. I think that's a yes.
yeah,
2022.
2020. Yeah.
2022.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
1961. That's the Trust for Healthy Maine.
Yes.
2142. That's the glyphosate.
Yes.
Forestry and
Yeah.
use. 1888. It's probably a yes.
Yep.
As is 1923.
That's yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Isaiah, I guess you and I can talk offline about what's left in our hand.
Okay. I can give you a phone call.
Okay, and I want to thank Isaiah for leading this meeting. You can unshare your screen now if you'd like.
Mhm.
I want to thank each of you as a co-chair of this subcommittee. I want to thank you for the work that you've done, the way in which you've done it, the collegiality that we shared, and as well as some of the laughter that we shared as well.
Yes.
So thank you so very much. Isaiah, thank you for your leadership and for our legislators who participated. We're grateful for your participation. This process has been, I think, a phenomenal process. I look forward to working with you on other things. So Representative Hickman, while you're still in office, we want to continue to do this work. And I got to figure out how to get my collard greens from you.
I got collard greens galore.
I have to take a drive. I put my wife in the car and we'll take a drive. I think we have to leave because
Thank you so
the
much.
next speaker is waiting for us, okay?
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Echo
Take
those
care.
sentiments.
Katie, we're leaving now. We're leaving now.
Thank you.
Heidi Brooks, thank you so much. Representative Handy, thank you. Take care.
Welcome.